Good morning, guys. It's Dawn again. Um, I wanted to make today's video with a few different products. So first, I have a friend who's very dear to me who suffered a stroke and has some left-sided weakness and hand dexterity issues. And so, of course, the doctors set her up to have physical and occupational therapy to work on her walking, to work on her strength, her fortitude to be able to get strong again. And so she messaged me and she's like, "Hey, I'm using this putty in PT and it's not very cute." And she loves purple, like super purple fan. And she's like, "Can you make me some PT putty?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Again, my son is special needs and has had PT off and on for years, especially when he was younger. So I was like, "Yeah, I could totally make this recipe." So I did some research and I tweaked my own little things on it, and I actually made some PT putty, which I'm calling sensory putty, because my husband and I's company, I'm the designer, he's the owner, and our goal is to make fun sensory items for people on the spectrum or with any tisms or anything. So I wanted to show you guys how good the sensory putty is, and it's really perfect. This is my large jar, and you can't really see it, but I kind of made this one like the lavender color changing. But first of all, the first thing you're going to notice is it's thick, which is what you want for putty that they're using to help with, and you can see it's very it's very stretchy. You want it to be thick. You can break this kind on purpose. You want it to be thick because you want it to have some resistance when they're grabbing it. The whole point is to strengthen those muscles again and get those fingers, each digit, to remember and connect with your brain. Hey, we need to work. We need to hold things safely. We need to hold on to things for balance and things like that. So I decided to make the recipe, and it's like a ball, like you can hear, and that's what you want. When I was a kid, there used to be a product, which it may still be around, called Silly Putty, and that's a totally different product, but I was using the ideas for the basic chemical compound of that, which was really cool. If you look up Silly Putty, that brand was actually created as a cleaning agent. I don't know, it was like 50s or below. So it was really cool. So check out their product origin. But my sensory putty is really good because you're going to be able to do a lot of dexterity things with it. You may think, oh, this looks like slime, but it's rubbery. So it's not really slime per se, but I guess, you could put it in that category if you wanted to, but I call it sensory putty because it's rubbery. You've got that rubbery texture to it. You can ball it up and they can do everything that they need to do with it to strengthen their hands. So yeah, thank you to my friend Julie for inspiring me to not only help her on her health journey, but to make a product that is cute. And I made hers darker purple than this and smells like grapes. So she's actually at physical therapy today. So hopefully she will give me some feedback later on how well it worked for her. She did open it last night and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it smells so good." I was like, "Thank you." There's no reason why we have to have, ugly or plain or boring things for our health aids. Like y'all know, I've already told you before, I have multiple sclerosis and a few other little comorbidities, meaning other things that are with it. And I blinged out my arm stilts. My motorized wheelchair is covered in stickers, and I have mushroom covers on the armbands. So yeah, I mean, like, why can't we make our health aids make them nice. Like, why can't we make them fun? Like, why does it have to be boring? It really doesn't. And I'm definitely not going to make mine boring. And if I have the opportunity to help someone else, I'm not going to make theirs boring either. As you can see, this is so good for dexterity and strength building, without causing too many problems. And if she wants, she can just sit there and move it back and forth in her hands. So it's not going to be a hard rubber ball, which can be very sore sometimes, especially if you have joint pain. You want something that's malleable, but not like slime, because slime is super fun, and I have a slime bar and I love slime, but when you're using it for a health aid like this, I wanted it to make it a little bit more rubberier, so that's what I did. So yeah, I got sensory putty now, which will be super cool to add to my slime bar. You never know. I think it's great. It's helpful for me, and it helped my friend, and so that's what's important to me. Okay, put that back. All right, so everybody knows the Taba squishies, or the Taba squishy dupes are super popular. They've been popular for a really long time, but I think now they're kind of gaining a little bit more popularity, which is super cool because I make them too. And I wanted to make some realistic ones. So everybody likes the kawaii ones that are adorable, which I still make, but I wanted to make some beautiful ones. So I did, look at the marbling. I did this Taba squishy, and it's very much a Taba squishy. Like, it does everything, you know. But I made it a mermaid tail, and it's so beautiful because it actually has, you know, color changing. So that was one of my Taba squishies I made recently. And of course, since I was making a mermaid, we might as well make a seashell, right? Like a scallop. So I made a scallop shell, and I did marbling inside of it to make it look more realistic and less cartoony. Because you know what? Some people might want, these are really good sensory too. You can see they stick to you. Taba squishies are very sticky. Some people might want more realistic ones, and I have my cute ones and things like that, but I wanted to make some really beautiful ones. So I've been making some Halloween ones too. I made jellyfish. The jellyfish is adorable. He's packed right now, getting ready for a big show. So yeah, those are beautiful Taba squishies. Okay, so we all know that those viral crunchy squishies are super popular. So I was like, okay, cool. Everybody loves dumplings. I love dumplings. My little mascot, Lynn, is a dumpling. A dumplin'. Say it like you're in the country. Her name's Lynn, and I love dumplings. They're adorable, and I make dumpling squishies too, but I wanted to do some different shapes in the crunchy squishies. So these little paws, these little cat paw, bear paws, or whatever, are adorable. And I mean, that crunch is amazing. And of course, with any of them, since they're made in that gel pack, you want to get back to its original shape. It's super easy to do. You just kind of work it around a little bit and get it back to where you see your little toes again. You got my little bear toes, you know, little cat paw toes. Another one that I made, which I was so in love with, I wanted to try different mediums inside of the squishes. So y'all, it's a tiny bobblehead looking octopi. Oh my gosh, look at it. The little octopus. He's stinking cute. So for this one, I wanted it to be like it's very reminiscent of what a regular octopus or a squid would look. It's just all jelly and squishy. I sound like Olaf, warm hugs. But look at it's like, but what I did with this one is, you can see, I put water beads inside of it, and oh my gosh, I'm not touching jellyfish. You shouldn't touch jellyfish because they sting. Please do not ever handle jellyfish unless you work at an aquarium and you do so properly. But I can imagine how squishy and just, you know, gooey and gummy they would be. And so when I saw this skin, I was like, oh my God, it's so cute. So yeah, this one I wanted to kind of reminds you know, the ones in SpongeBob that were kind of swimming across the screen. Anyway, but yeah, I wanted to do that. And then, of course, excuse me, MS Muscles like to be cranky and I needed a drink. But anyways, so I'm in love with these little octopus. Oh my gosh, like, so cute. And you've got the little mouth right there. But this one I made a crunchy one. So he's got little pearls in him. And some of them I suck the air out of and some I don't. Obviously this one I did not, because the whole purpose of having the jellyfish is for it to be squishy. So yeah, and then I made another one in my packaging already that's got the little polystyrene beads in it. But yeah, so showed you my pretty Taba dupes and my crunchies and my squishies. So I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing morning. Remember, it doesn't take a cape to be a superhero. It just takes love in your heart to go out there and make a difference in your world. You know, this world is a really hard place and so many things go on that are out of our control and it gets us down. But just remember, you are so loved. You are so loved and you are wanted, you're important, and you're special. And you make a difference. You know, the world would be less brighter without you in it. So make sure you love on those who are in your life and go out and do something for good today.